Whenever India talks of its lost cultural heritage, Kohinoor doesn't take very long to come up in that conversation. So it's not surprising at all that a parliamentary panel now wants the government to bring back the Kohinoor, which is now a part of the crown jewels of the British monarchy. Now, this report that I'm talking about, the parliamentary panel's report, is titled Heritage Theft, the Illegal Trade in Indian Antiquities and the Challenges of Retrieving and Safeguarding Our Tangible Cultural Heritage. It was tabled in the Parliament earlier this week and has been presented by the Standing Committee on Transport, Tourism and Culture, chaired by V. Vijayasai Reddy of the YSR Congress. Now, the report begins by recalling the colonial plunder of India's tangible cultural heritage. The crux of this report is that it highlights the challenges in documentation, identification, safeguarding and repatriation of antiquities and lost cultural wealth of the country. And in one of its chapters, the panel talks about the Kohinoor. It looks at various options that could maybe be used to bring the diamond back to the country, and what's giving the panel hope is a UNESCO convention. This is the 1970 UNESCO Convention on the means of prohibiting and preventing the illicit import, export and transfer of ownership of cultural property. The convention urges state parties to take measures to prohibit and prevent the illicit trafficking of cultural property, and it provides a common framework of sorts for these countries on the measures to be taken to prohibit and prevent the import, export and transfer of cultural property. Now, just to give you some historical context for this convention, the convention was brought in because by the 1950s, several countries were gaining independence, and these young nations wanted an international treaty to combat the illegal trafficking of cultural property. Their concern was mainly related to the growth of the black market during this time, and in particular to the dismemberment of monuments and ancient sites to meet the demand. Now, Article 7 of this convention urges states to take appropriate steps to recover and return any such cultural property imported after the convention came into force at the request of the country of origin of such property. Article 15 at the same time of this convention also says that the convention doesn't stop state parties from concluding special agreements among themselves on the restitution of cultural property removed from their territory before the convention came into place. Now, please mark the words here while Article 7 talks about the application of this convention to property taken after the convention came into force. Article 15 at the same time allows concluding special agreements on restitution of property that was removed or taken before the convention came into force. Now, when the panel spoke to the Ministry of Culture about this, the ministry said that the Kohinoor was taken away before the 1970 convention, so there is no legal basis in international law for demanding it back from the UK. The Ministry of Culture essentially relied on Article 7 of the convention and said that only recourse that would be possible here would be to explore possibilities of seeking the return of the Kohinoor through negotiations. And this has been the large understanding over using this convention in the context of the Kohinoor. In fact, back in 2014, in a written reply to the Rajya Sabha, the then Minister of State for Culture, Shripad Nayak, had said that the Culture Ministry or Archaeological Survey of India has not put forth any initiative for repatriation of the Kohinoor diamond. He had specifically said that the issue is not covered under the 1970 UNESCO Convention. But then the Parliamentary Committee also spoke to other ministries, and the report now claims that as per the opinion from the Department of Legal Affairs, the 1970 UNESCO Convention allows countries to enter into special agreements among themselves for restitution of removed cultural property. This was essentially relying on Article 15, which, as I mentioned, speaks about allowing state parties to conclude special agreements. The Law Secretary also told the committee that the legislative competence exists for formulating a law for restitution of Kohinoor back to India. This was again on the basis of Article 15 of the Convention. In its report, the committee also cited examples of other countries bringing back their ancient cultural properties stolen much prior to the 1970 Convention. You can see the examples on your screens right now. Now, the committee therefore has now expressed hope that there is nothing to prevent India from seeking the restitution of the Kohinoor and other antiquities stolen, taken or removed prior to independence or prior to the 1970 Convention. Therefore, recommended that the Ministry of Culture may adopt global precedents and make all efforts to ensure that the Kohinoor and other precious historical artifacts are returned to India. And not just the Kohinoor, the parliamentary panel has several ideas in this 108-page report. For example, the committee has also recommended amendments in several laws. Currently, the Antiquities and Art Treasures Act 1972 provides for a punishment of 6 months to 3 years with fine for anybody who exports any antiquity or art treasure in violation of the law. However, the committee felt that the provisions are not stringent enough, which makes it relatively easy for criminals to escape the law or get away with light punishments for stealing centuries old and glorious treasures of India. These were the committee's words. Therefore, recommended that this punishment should be increased to 7 years along with a penalty of up to Rs 50 lakhs to deter illegal export of antiquities. In addition, the committee has also recommended establishment of a dedicated cultural heritage squad, which sounds pretty cool, for the recovery of stolen antiquities. It referred to the prolific art thief Subhash Kapoor as a cautionary tale as well, to urge a more proactive approach towards prevention of antique theft as also their retrieval. Now, Kapoor himself is a very fascinating character if you want to read up more about him. The Indian-born US national is accused of smuggling 2,600 individual objects worth over $143 million. He's currently though in a Tamil Nadu jail after he was convicted of theft and illegal export of antique artifacts by a trial court in Tamil Nadu, and he was sentenced to 10 years in jail last November. Now, the committee has said that his case should be an eye-opener for Indian government agencies to the enormous scale of looting of India's temples and archaeological sites and the complex network of common thieves, art thieves, exporters, businessmen, and museum curators who are involved in this elaborate process. The committee has therefore emphasized on the importance of coordination among different agencies and ministries to counter cross-border smuggling of stolen antiquities as well as recovery of stolen antiquities. These include the Ministry of Culture, Archaeological Survey of India, Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of External Affairs, state governments, ED, Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, and Directorate of Revenue Intelligence. So, the committee wants all of these ministries and agencies to work together. The committee has also made other recommendations and suggestions like providing CCTV cameras in all almost 3,700 centrally protected monuments and sites under ASI. It also emphasized on the importance of documentation of antiquities as playing a vital role in retrieving or claiming the stolen antiquities and proving the ownership of these antiquities, because it found that the documentation was lacking in this regard, and if you can't identify and don't have the documentation for what is stolen, how would you ever recover it back? That's all I have for you for today. This is Apoorva Mandhani for ThePrint. For more such videos, do subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.